Joey, for your third video here, we're going to take a look at the race and squeeze phase of the throw, and then also the release. And there's, I guess, a couple things we'll take a look at, with that. So let me play it for you one more time. This is again the same throw, the final throw from of the session for you. Okay, and just one thing to point out to you as well, if you watch again, the speed of your rev versus the speed of your throw. You see how it's sort of a slow rev and then a fast throw? So we want to create our speed and our momentum of our throw from the rev. So right now I want you to think of your throw now from, this is my throw, bang, it starts now. It doesn't start when I get there. If I can change my thinking and start my throw here, I can zip through the rev much faster and get a lot more on my throw without feeling like I'm exerting as much effort. So you're going to create more momentum just through the rev by attacking that rev with a much faster speed. Okay, but like we said before, good rev, and from this position I want to try to think about the least amount of excess movement possible. Okay, so once I get to the rev, I now want to think about my race and my squeeze on the front side. Okay, so from here I want to picture my elbow has a laser beam on it pointing down toward the ground, and I want my laser beam and my elbow to immediately drive towards my target with my elbow in front of the football, creating what we call elbow lead. And I want the elbow in the lead of the football so that I get that snap and whip effect on my arm. So right now you can see as you come through rev, you continue up to that what I call the vertical L position, which you can see here. And when we get to the vertical L, if you notice, this is, I call this rolling. When you roll from that rev up to the vertical L. And if you notice, what is your front arm doing? It's doing the exact same thing. The way our body works, the front arm and the back arm tend to do the same thing, and when we roll the football up, that hand comes up in front of our face. Okay, so first, the rolling of the football up into that vertical L takes a lot longer to get moving forward, so it slows down our whole throw. By the same token, our body is naturally rotating on our throw. So the longer, more movement we take back here, the harder it is for the elbow to win the race against the chest and get out in front, because our body is going to start that turn regardless. So we want to get the elbow going from right now. I want to start my race. I want to start racing now. Get it going forward as quickly as you can, and help yourself by not getting that front hand up. Because once the front hand gets up, when you try to squeeze, look what happens. That squeeze becomes a rip. Bang, it pulls the chest. If you can see that pulling open of the chest. So now, instead of the squeeze keeping you closed, that squeeze, when the hand is high, turns into more of a rip. Now you come down and you make contact with your body much better than you did early on in the session, but we're not using that squeeze to the best of our ability. So if we can keep our body closed as long as possible, we give ourselves the best chance to cut through with a close elbow path and win the race and get through to pop position. Now with all that said, you don't do a bad job of getting through pop position with late extension, meaning I want to drive my elbow all the way through to my target as far forward as I can before I start to extend my elbow. And you do a pretty good job of that. You're driving before you start to snap that elbow, releasing. So that's good stuff. What you notice is your wrist. Okay, look at your wrist on the football as you're coming through. You see how it's flat? And as you get to the release, notice the point of the football. Where is it? Right now it's straight. Okay? Watch as it gets a little further. It's going to start to have the slightest downward positioning. So you want to come all the way back to your pre-pass. Notice where that ball is located, okay, in pre-pass. You want that point, instead of being here, get even more angle to it. Get that 45-degree angle working. That's going to force that wrist to be loaded. Now you keep that wrist loaded through the entire movement, and you're going to be able to get more snap out of that wrist, as well as allow yourself the point of the football to be up and out, which gives your your actual ball flight its best possible trajectory, and this way it won't dive on you or lose its upright flight path nearly as quickly. So that's something on the release you can work on. But really, at the end of the day, too, it maximizes your snap of your wrist that you can get when you throw. And if you can get as full of an extension of that elbow first before you start the wrist, that's what you're going for. Elbow first, then wrist. And you picture that football is really chasing, snapping behind it and chasing with the hand the flight path of the football. And that gets the most maximum snap you can possibly get out of your throw by just using your body the way you're able to use it. So overall, not bad. There was definite improvement here through the session. I think you felt that. But this is where we want to work towards. So that it's this movement right here that we want to try to fix. And we're going to be able to streamline that from rev to just now we're going to sort of a circle path, rev to now the race. And that will eliminate that rolling up of the football, which takes time, allows the front hand to roll up, and then promotes an early opening on the front side as well.